Check it out, lads and laddies. Buck, buck. We have Kai Greene versus Phil Heath. You can't go wrong with Kai Greene versus Phil Heath. It's always close. Phil always wins in the end. We have a different situation here. We have Kai Greene, 2016. He hadn't competed in a couple of years. He elected not to compete at the 2015 or 16 Olympia. He went ahead with the Arnold Classic. Last time he ever competed. He looked awesome. Phil wasn't there. Phil did go on, however, to win several other Olympia titles with the absence of Kai Greene there, and he eventually lost it here in 2018. And it's a darn shame that Kai didn't come back and be the man. Well, Sean Roden, he was a good man to do it, but gosh darn it, I think that Kai Greene could have defeated Phil Heath. Ring-a-ding-ding. We're going to go through all of these shots, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And I hate to let the cat out of the bag, but Kai Greene, he looks like he's too much size-wise. And I looked at a lot of side-by-each comparisons of these two dudes, and Kai was always a lot bigger in certain shots. Like this front double by, he's bigger in certain shots. He looks bigger. It's all about the illusion. I'm sure he always outweighed Phil. He's just a big beast of a man. Now, usually Phil would get the edge as far as maybe the midsection, maybe even the arms. It's debatable. To be honest. Phil's got the forearms. Keep that in mind. But here in 2018, the arms of Phil were down a little bit. The V-taper was actually not as good as even 2017. It's a little bit bigger, I think, 2017. But the midsection, Kai's beating him on that aspect, as well as the legs. Phil wasn't as sharp in the conditioning department here in 2018. Hey, he lost for several reasons, midsection included, but also his condition, I don't think. From the front, anyway. We'll see from the back if it's any different, but anyway, can't spend all day on one pose. Kai generally does win the front double. Certain versions of Phil, they can beat Kai. Go to the next shot here. The front lat spread. Kai usually gets this one as well. It's like a Ronnie Coleman versus Dorian Yates bloke. It's like it's a mathematical equation. Kai usually gets the first two shots. Depending on the version. I'm sure if it was 2011 of both of these two dudes, Phil would get Kai in the front double. It's just too much in the way of the midsection. But by darn it, or by garsh, when Phil's midsection is as big as Kai's, then, it's a mathematical equation. Kai simply wins both of the front shots. Turn to the side. This is where Phil Heath takes over. Generally, like I said, the mathematical equation between Dorian and Ronnie Coleman keeps it pretty even, and it usually did between these two dudes. Depending, I still say Kai, he's still losing this front side chest. I'm not gonna diss my man Kai. He once commented on one of my videos, so you never know. He might watch this. His wheels, Kai, he has bigger legs, much bigger. Much longer, too, than Phil's, I noticed. Longer, bigger, thicker. Phil is just more pronounced in that upper body. Just too perfect. He's too perfect. And speaking of which, the midsection might be a little big for Kai. I owe it to you guys to mention that. It is a Cassis Bellies. Baby, please. Drop it down. Wow. Side tricep also. Phil Heath picks up an easy win here. I think the midsection is 110% better for Kai's side tricep as it is for the side chest. Why, Kai? How can you do it perfectly for the side tricep, but you can't for the side chest? I'll never understand that. Just swing your arm out in this position right here and you'd have a better side chest than Phil, probably. At least better than the one that you showed us. 2016. I'm sorry. Just Phil, he is pronounced perfectly. He is displayed, not pronounced. He's displayed perfect. So Phil gets the 2 side, ties things up. And here's where it gets interesting. Between Kai Greene and Phil Heath, the back lat spread, usually a shot that Phil Heath destroys Kai. He's just too much in the way of detail and condition. So is Phil doing that in this comparison when we use the 2016 Kai and the 2018 Phil? I say yes. I say the condition is still a little bit better. Lower half, things of that nature. We're not discussing the detail of the back yet. But the condition, lower half, things of that nature. I think, yeah, Phil still does have an edge. Not as much as it was in certain days. Now, Kai's back itself, it's wider than Phil's, I think. It's not as symmetrical. And it is nowhere near as deep and just cavernous. Is that a word, cavernous? Look at Phil's back. I mean, detail. But like I said, Phil always gets the rear lat spread. Kai just loses his detail in that back when he pulls this shot off. Now the rear double bi is a different situation altogether. Kai is beating Phil in the back here. Kai is defeating Phil in the arms. And aside from condition, he is beating Phil in the lower half. I looked at picture after picture of these guys, and Kai, he always seemed to have dwarfed Phil Heath in the back itself in this shot, and even the lower half. Now, of course, Phil was more peeled. The 2013, of course, Phil was just peak condition. Now go to the task at hand, 2016. I think Kai was just as good here, maybe even a hair better than he was in 2013. Phil, so much smaller and not as peeled. So there is a legitimate question here. Could Kai Greene have toppled Phil Heath in 2018 if he had at least maintained what he brought 2016, which is possible for Kai? Here's the abs and thigh, and Kai's picking up a win here. If Phil's picking up wins left and right in the sides, which is funny, left and right. No? Nobody get that? Come on. Then Kai should be deserving of some rewards here, like in the abs and thigh. Look at Kai's lat. Looks bulbous. Almost like Derek Lunsford's is. Well, looks pretty impressive nonetheless. Better midsection for Kai. Quads are better. I think Phil showed that he was more conditioned from behind, but from the front point of view, I think Kai Greene all day long. And in the most muscular, creates some controversy. Phil, it seemed like his clavicle, wasn't his clavicle, obviously, they stay the same size. I think hips get wider, but your clavicle doesn't get any more narrow, I don't think. His chest seemed to get more and more narrow each passing year. So once a full set of breasts was just reduced to it looks like a little anchor. And Kai was never supreme in the chest when he went to do his most muscular poses, but he's beating Phil here. Gosh darn it, I think he is. Phil's always going to beat Kai in the arm department. Kai gets the midsection. There we go, the midsection. So Kai was losing in that aspect, in the side chest anyway. But he was winning all other aspects. Now, condition-wise, was Sean Roden more peeled than Kai Greene? I think so, yeah, from behind. It was closer between him and Phil than it was him and Kai, Phil and Kai. But Kai's a whole lot meatier. He's winning those aspects as well. So was Kai just as much of a handful as a Sean Roden 2018? I think the midsection was so good for Sean Roden, it really made Phil's midsection look bad. Would Big Kai be able to also draw out that weakness from Phil, using his own midsection? Not as much as Sean Roden would have, especially considering he would have lost in the side chest in the midsection. But all other poses, he'd probably win. Now, Kai's back. There's no way, shape, or form that Sean Roden was beating Phil in any back shot. Front, rear relaxed, not front, rear, front, or rear relaxed, whatever you call it, double lat spread. Phil was just destroying him. But Kai, he has the ticket. Give me the ticket. This is my Homer J. Simpson. Ah, come on. Beer, beer, beer. Bed, bed, bed. So yeah, Kai Greene, in my firm opinion, not that firm, in my loosely fitted opinion, I think that Kai Greene, if he had stuck around, and he had have maintained, and he, what the heck, even, no, not improved, this here version, if he had maintained exactly, and Kai's a strange dude, and I mean that as a compliment, I think he could have pulled it off. I don't think he ages too much, is exactly what I'm saying. I think he would have been the man to have defeated the gift, the doctor, Dr. Phil, the gift, Phil Heath. But that's just my opinion. If a real judge were to point certain things, oh, hold on a second there, Mark's Max Muscle, you see the delts there are too big for Phil Heath there, he's going to beat Kai in the arms and there's some, yeah, I get it, forearms as well, but I still pick Kai. And he has fancy hair. What does Phil got? Bald. Just bald. Have a great one, guys.